A hand presses into damp clay 30,000 years ago. No other creature has ever left this precise mark here. Outside the cave, cold wind carries the scent of danger. Most people imagine a grunting brute dragging a heavy club. That image is comforting, simple, convenient, and almost entirely wrong. Real evidence tells a very different, far more disturbing story. In 2018, researchers quietly uncovered something nobody expected to find. Buried beneath the soil was not a weapon, but flowers. Someone long ago chose to bury the dead with care. That single act quietly rewrites everything we assumed about them. The so-called caveman, it now seems, deeply mourned his dead. He grieved, he remembered, and perhaps, quietly, he even hoped. This was not a beast surviving, but a mind reflecting. And that reflection changes everything we think we know now. Because if they could mourn, what else could they feel? Consider Shanidar Cave, hidden deep within the mountains of Iraq. There, archaeologists found a skeleton surrounded by ancient pollen grains. For decades, scientists debated whether flowers were placed there deliberately. The debate itself reveals something uncomfortable about our own assumptions. We assumed intelligence began with us and ended with them, but the bones kept speaking, long after the bodies decayed. One skeleton showed a healed fracture, decades old, fully mended. Someone with a shattered arm survived years without walking alone. That means someone else fed him, protected him, and stayed. Compassion, it turns out, is far older than civilization itself. Now scale this outward, past one cave, past one skeleton. Across 3 continents, similar patterns quietly kept emerging from soil. Different groups, thousands of miles apart, buried their dead similarly. No one taught them this. Something deeper connected them all. Perhaps grief is not learned, but written into human biology. If that is true, something unsettling follows from this discovery. Grief may be older than language, older than fire itself. Before we could speak, it seems, we already knew loss. Loss, apparently, arrived long before we had words for it. Somewhere in that silence, the first human sorrow was born. Meanwhile, far from any grave, other hands shaped something else. Ochre, ground into powder, stained tools with deliberate, repeated patterns. This was not decoration for survival. This was pure expression. Somewhere, someone stopped merely surviving long enough to create beauty. That quiet moment may be the actual birth of art. And once art exists, so does something like human identity. Identity means a self, aware that it exists and matters. A creature aware of itself begins to ask dangerous questions. Why do I exist? And what happens when I die? These early humans, it seems, already carried that same fear. So perhaps they were never truly primitive, only early versions of the same fragile, searching mind we carry. The tools changed, the caves disappeared, but the fear remained. We still bury our dead with flowers and quiet ceremony. We still create beauty no one asked us to make. We still ask why, staring upward into an indifferent sky. Perhaps the cave never ended. Perhaps we still live there, not in stone, but in the architecture of our fear. Every grave we dig repeats a gesture 30 millennia old, so maybe cavemen never vanished. Maybe we simply renamed them. Like and subscribe. See you in the next.